All praises to the Most High and His beloved Son. I want to talk about the fruit of the Spirit, temperance. But first, I want to show this clip of me fighting this creature. I cut a lizard in half. That's half of his body, and that's the other half. Right in. Nice clean cut. All praises to the Most High and His beloved Son. Welcome to Heart of Truth Ministry. I wanted to open up with that clip because it represents the war against spiritual wickedness in high places. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked, and reptilians are is a class of demon that Christians war against in the spirit. As it is written in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 17, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Me cutting that lizard represent the sword of the Spirit, which is part of the armor of God. And first I cut this. The lizard looks bigger than what the camera recorded. First I cut it in half, and then I flipped it over because I thought it was dead, but it still got away from me, and I managed to cut its arm off before it got away. Equip the sword of the Spirit. Always have the sword of the Spirit, just like I always have my swords, my weapons for protection. Like I said, I want to talk about the fruit of the Spirit, temperance, written in Galatians chapter 5 verse 22. Another word for temperance is endurance. As you can see, this is the ninja warrior. This is the ninja warrior that they had recently downtown, and I recorded some clips. When I think about ninjutsu or ninjas, I think about the fruit of the Spirit, temperance, because ninjutsu is the art of endurance. And as you can see, this guy trying to get across to the other side. The fact that it is difficult represent trials and tribulations that you might have to go through. As a Christian. Because like I quoted, we wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places. We wrestle against demons, which are the rulers of darkness of this world. A lot of leaders of this world are reptilians. Temperance is the greatest fruit of the Spirit. That's what I think. Which also means endurance. Now I'm going to read what Archangel Uriel said about the narrow path to the better world. A life of a Christian is not all easy. It is a narrow path filled with trials and tribulations. Just like the man that you saw in this clip, you have to endure with the fruit of the Spirit, temperance. Endure trials. After I had finished praying, God sent the angel Uriel to me, just as he had done twice before. Uriel said, "Stand up, Ezra, and listen to what I have to say." I said, "Sir, I'm ready to listen." Uriel replied, "Suppose there is a very large and deep ocean, but the only way into the ocean is through a narrow opening no wider than a stream. Anyone who wants to visit this ocean or take control of it will first have to go through this narrow place. Now suppose that in a large valley there is a city filled with good things, but the gate of the city is on a narrow and steep place, with fire on the right side and deep water on the left. The path to the gate is so narrow that only one person can walk on it at a time. If someone inherited this city, the only way to get there would be to walk along this dangerous path." I said, "You're right, sir." Then Uriel said, "That's how it is with people of Israel. God created this world for them, but when Adam disobeyed him, God punished the entire world. So the ways into the world became narrow and dangerous. There are only a few paths. They are difficult to walk on and are filled with evil. But the ways into the better world to come are wide and safe, and they lead to everlasting life. People must pass through the difficult and evil ways of this life before they receive the good things waiting for them in the world to come." The city filled with good things represent the kingdom of heaven. The narrow path with fire on the right side and deep water on the left represent the narrow path that leads to salvation, written in Matthew chapter 7. Uriel also said, "The path to the gate is so narrow that only one person can walk on it at a time. As it is written, work out your own salvation." As what you've seen was a man trying to get to the other side with temperance or endurance. Only one person can walk on it at a time. Your life has to revolve around Jesus Christ. 101. Work out your own salvation. Uriel also said, people must pass through the difficult and evil ways of this life before they receive the good things waiting for them in the world to come. The world to come is the kingdom of heaven. Like I quoted, we wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places. I remember God showed me in the spirit 2 female demons that were at my job. We really do wrestle against spiritual wickedness. I use my job so I can stay on the narrow path that leads to salvation. That is why I caught this ninja warrior thing going on, because this is the path that I take to go there. The bridge that I take to go to work on foot represent the narrow path that leads to the world to come, heaven. Like what Uriel said, the gate of the city is on a narrow and steep place with fire on the right side and deep water on the left. When I go to this job, the fire represents the sun. The water on the left of me represent the other side of the narrow path. And lastly, What connects with my walk in God is what Uriel said about the path being so narrow that only one person can walk on it at a time. I use this job so I can stay on a narrow path, creating a pilgrimage in Him, in the Lord. Going back to what Uriel said, people must pass through the difficult and evil ways of this life before they receive the good things waiting for them in the world to come. That is very true, because since God revealed to me what I was warring against at my job, these female demons, that represent what Uriel said about passing through the difficult and evil ways of this life. Because these female demons, they are good at creating gossip, slander, and persecutions. Therefore, the fruit of the Spirit, temperance, is my most important strength. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 17, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. When I saw these demons in the spirit that were at my job, they kind of looked reptilian. Their eyes looked reptilian to me. They looked very demonic. But with the fruit of the Spirit, temperance, I endure the persecutions that I go through there. Because I know that if I stay on this path, I will receive the good things waiting for me in the world to come. Just like what Uriel said. God has made me a future king because I increased the amount of pounds He has given me. The Hidden Leaf Village from Naruto is one of my cities. Not in the story of Naruto, ninjutsu is used against evil. The weapon that I used against that lizard in my home is a ninja's weapon called Twin Tanto or Tantu. Uriel said the gate of the city is on a narrow, steep place with fire on the right and deep water on the left. And it's so narrow that one person can walk on it at a time. I've walked this narrow path for years. One person can walk on it at a time. He also said if someone inherited this city, the only way to get there will be to walk along this dangerous path. I have the city of the Hidden Leaf Village. Whatever my city is, the Hidden Leaf Village. Because I walk this dangerous path as a Christian, alone. I encourage everyone to endure, just like that man in the clip endured from the Ninja Warrior event, because we wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places. And the path is filled, and the path that Christians walk on are filled with evil. Evil such as those female demons that look reptilian. I saw in the spirit. People must pass through the difficult and evil ways of this life before they reach the good things waiting for them in the world to come, which is heaven. I recommend, in order to reach the world to come, I recommend everyone to have the fruit of the Spirit, especially temperance, which also means endurance. Temperance proves that God is real.